Yes, yes, indeed. It's 90.9 FM KHDC. Yours truly, Kazzeo, in the building. The Wednesday Rec happening right about now. Right now, believe it or not, I have an actual international call. This is the first time I've actually had somebody call from international out of the United States. My man, I don't even do I call you Coolie B, or do I call you A-Track Mind, or do I call you Imperial? What do I call you, man?
Hey, man. You can call me what's on my birth certificate, Imperial.
Imperial. Now, this is weird, dude, because it's like, usually there's times like most of the time I interview somebody that I have, no history or no like knowledge of really. Like I go into it, kind of blindfolded. And then there's other times I interview people that like I kind of know from like seeing them around and whatnot. This guy, I know this guy since like 6th grade, so it's like kind of hard to like think of questions to come up with and make it seem relevant, because it'd be like otherwise.
What do you mean, like drinking liquor at Natural Bridges?
Hey man, I don't know what you're talking about. Actually, I do. But so real quick, the artist formerly known as Coolie B. I can't even remember, what was your breaking name before Coolie B?
Rock Wiz.
Rock Wiz. Okay, there you go. That was way back. Santa Cruz native. Hasn't really been heard from out here on the Central Coast in, I don't know, what, like 15 years?
I don't know, dude. Days are turning into months or turning into years nowadays, so what?
Okay, so let me bring it up to speed real quick here, because see, it's 7 o'clock here on the West Coast, 7:10. It's actually 4:10 a.m. out in Sweden, where Imperial's calling from. So he's a little groggy still, But
yeah, that's right. It ain't about. I haven't been partying all night, dude. It's just early.
Dude, I heard you just got back from a Stonehenge or something.
Yeah, dude. That kind of stuff's happening in my backyard.
You and Spinal Tap. Nah, so what it is Coolie B, or Imperial, I keep saying Coolie B. Let's see, that just, I'm going back too far. Imperial, long-time DJ out here on the Central Coast, Santa Cruz and whatnot. In the early 90s, after we graduated high school, started putting out music. He did a lot of stuff with a lot of local artists, BC Chill, did some stuff with MC Time, the West Coast Terrorists. He did some scratching on Tongue Twister's record, I believe. Then
Master Kurt.
Yeah, exactly, working with Master Kurt, doing stuff when Kurt still had a little studio out there by the boardwalk.
That's right, dude, Midtown.
Many years ago. So then, in about, I'm going to say 91, 92, Asphalt Poetry came into be. You hooked up with this local guy named EJ, and you guys started like putting music out, putting records together and whatnot. Then in 95, you actually put out a compilation of local Santa Cruz artists called the Asphalt Legion. Featured the Flow Pros, Ebony Mist, Bang,
Seaside's own Marlin.
Right, Marlin was on there. And that was kind of like a few years later, actually around, I'm going to say 2003, 2004, there was a compilation that came out called the Rec League All-Stars. And talking to the guys who put that together, they highly credit the Asphalt Legion compilation as being an inspiration to do that. And then, in fact, they had me do the intro for their compilation, so that was kind of cool. I threw in a couple of your guys' tracks and MC Groove, and just like bringing people up to speed before we got into the new school stuff. But so that came out, and then in around 95 or 96, you basically packed everything up and left. And
pulled the Beverly Hillbillies move.
Exactly. So, from that point on, I mean, what's been going on? Bring us up to speed.
Yeah, man, since that time, and that was a long time ago, like 97, I guess, and I jumped ship, came over here to Europe, and was trying to do some music here with this dude that was on that first Asphalt Poetry record. He was featured on Lyrical Decay, Rockman.
Right.
And, the guy said he had some things lined up. So I kind of went out here taking a chance, not knowing what that dude was really about, kind of just an acquaintance in Santa Cruz. And it fell through all the stuff that he said, man. He didn't have his story straight, so we kind of had a falling out. And then after that, I pretty much just kind of went solo here and just met my own friends and just kind of was going from different studios trying to help out other artists with different projects. And, you know, people thought it was kind of interesting to work with someone from California. And I played that out as much as I could until I had to eventually go back to Cali because life as an illegal alien isn't all that it's cracked up to be.
Yeah, so, you know, that happened. You came back out here in around, 99 or so? 2000 maybe?
Yeah, 99, at the end of 98.
Right. So, yeah, so you came back out here, and you were here for, I'm going to say, just under a year or so?
Yeah, that's right.
And you pretty much, at that time, I mean, you know, as far as anybody could tell, like, I don't think anybody even really knew that you were in town. You know, a few people knew, but not many, because you kind of like, I don't know, you kind of sequestered yourself.
Well, the thing is, man, I hopped back into Santa Cruz, and during that year I was gone, the town kind of changed, like, kind of dramatic, actually. There was, like, a big boom of population, and the town was just busy. It was like a little city when I came back, which is kind of hard to believe that happened in 1 year. So I couldn't really get established, man. Everyone kind of went their own way. So I hooked up with DJ Zeph, and he was out in San Francisco. So I was kind of living with that dude for like 6 months and working up in the city to get paid so I can get back to Sweden. And during that time, we actually made a mix called Break Builders, which,
right,
if anyone out there is into break beats, like old school breaks, they might have heard that mix in the underground circuit somewhere.
Indeed. So that was around 2000 or so. I remember you guys put that together, and you were working on a few other things with him, and then you like you said, you went back to Sweden, and I remember probably within the year that you got back over there to Sweden, you kind of, I don't know, you were like in like a punk rock band or something, weren't you? Weren't you doing some kind of like band stuff?
Oh, that's right. Yeah, I was working. Oh, this is complicated. Let me see if I can remember, man.
I know. It's it's only 4:15 out there, but
yeah, right, dude. I'm not even prepared for these questions, man. Well, actually, I was working with this band when I officially moved here to stay, and that was in 2003. And from contacts that I made previously, I kind of went on a mini tour with this one band that was kind of like some kind of alternative outfit, which had kind of blues and kind of funk and everything, and they wanted some DJ flavor on their stuff. And then from that, I met this other dude who was kind of playing bass, who kind of he had this other thing going on that was just kind of more hardcore, kind of punk, up-tempo, and I actually ended up doing vocals on that project, so
right.
I stepped up to that project on the mic, and then, yeah, we did some tracks and kind of made some noise here. Got played on Swedish radio on the government station here, and yeah, it was kind of cool. But before we got a real gig, it kind of fell apart because that dude was living up in the city, and by that time I had moved myself to like a smaller town, so it just wasn't feasible.
Right. So that's basically what's been going on so far up until maybe about 3 or 4 years ago. Now, my man Imperial calling all the way from Sweden. We're going to keep him on the line, but before we let him go, we're also going to talk about what's happening now, because there's a reissue now that's happening on iTunes, and we're going to get into all of that, but we're going to go back right now. I got... Actually, not go back. This is pretty much everything you just said. This is like summarizing it all up in a song. This is The Lost Years. Anything other than what you've said should be said about this song before I play it?
That song, yeah, it's like you said, man. It's pretty much what happened from '97 until pretty much current times, like give or take 3 years. And yeah, there's just a special shout at the end of that song for people that I'm sure people will recognize that dude's name if they haven't already checked that song out.
No doubt, no doubt. So I'm gonna hit this. This is I guess it's not Asphalt Legion, it's Imperial, right?
Yeah, it's my solo thing.
This is The Lost Years. We're gonna keep Imperial on the line. We'll be back in a second right here. It's 90.9 KHDC.